Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. Anniversary dinner. White tablecloth, the cheap candle they throw in to feel fancy. A server who keeps calling me sir, like it's supposed to soften what's coming. Anna folds her napkin into a sharp little triangle, sets it down like she's placing a ticket on a windshield, and says, flat as the menu, I'm going back to my ex. I never loved you. I looked at the server, then at the candle, then at her. I didn't flinch. That was the last gift I gave that marriage. No scene. I raised a hand for the check. Wow, I answered calm. You rehearsed that in the car or earlier? She flicked a smile. You'll be fine. We'll split everything. Half of it is mine anyway. It's not personal. Of course, I replied. You always kept it business. If I'd known how clean this would get, I'd have ordered dessert just to mark the moment. The check landed. I paid in cash. On the way out, she kept her voice low. You're not sleeping at the house tonight. I'll come by tomorrow for my things. Let's keep it respectful. We're adults. Adults, I agreed. So we follow structure. She didn't ask which structure. She knew I like rules. She just didn't know I'd built them for nights like this. At home, I moved like a contractor finishing a job. The file cabinet opened with a click. Post-nuptial agreement, signed 2 years ago after a rough patch and a counseling stint that was mostly me listening to her talk about freedom like it was a spa package. She wanted reassurance. I offered clarity. We wrote it down. Clause 4A. Voluntary separation triggers immediate vacate by the initiator for 30 days. No overnight access without written consent. Clause 7C. Separate property stays separate. Commingled assets are allocated by schedule. Clause 9B. Premeditation. If there's evidence the exit was planned to capture resources, temporary protections become permanent until audit. A trust held the house and my business. An LLC held the rentals, the car titles, my equipment, most of what made my days run. None of this was secret. She signed it after my attorney walked her through the plain English version. Her attorney at the time called it sensible guardrails. She wanted to be safe. So did I. I activated the practical stuff. Door code changed. Guest code established. Shared cards. Moved to limited authorization. My personal accounts. 2FA already on. I just rotated the keys. She had her own money. That was part of the point. I left a copy of the access rules on the kitchen island with a polite note. Per 4A. Keys on the hook. Guest code ends at 9 p.m. Please text before tomorrow noon for a pickup time. I slept in the guest room. Not because I had to. Because I wanted the master bed to forget her shape quicker. Morning cracked with the sound of routine. Coffee. Email. My neighbor's sprinklers hissing like gossip. I sent a concise message to my lawyer, Mark. Triggered 4A last night. She declared separation. Expect movement. I'll be in the shop by 9. He replied with a thumbs up and the line, understood. Keep it courteous. On my way to the workshop, Anna called. I let it roll to voicemail. Another text followed. I'll need my half liquid by Friday. Meeting my realtor later. I hit call. There's no half, Anna. There's a schedule. You signed it. We'll do it line by line. She exhaled into the phone. Don't start with your paperwork. I'm being fair. Good, I said. Then this is quick. You're not hearing me. I'll be reasonable. We can even stay cordial. I'll keep the gatherings on the calendar. Birthdays, holidays, Emma's games. And the house. I can come by when you're at work to get things. No drama. Text me a list. We'll coordinate a pickup time when I'm home. Emma's games, absolutely. Everything else, new format. What format? Short. Clear. No gray zones. We are not strangers, she snapped. We're closer to business partners wrapping up a project. Silence. Then a smooth pivot. I'm sorry for the way it came out last night. I meant to do it gently. I was nervous. You deserve better phrasing. There it was, the soft turn. First illusion. I let it sit. I appreciate the apology, I answered. Pick up at 6 today? I'll be home for an hour. I have a lunch. Make it 7. 6. It's not flexible. A pause long enough for me to picture her calendar flipping like a dealer spreads cards. Fine. 6. I pulled into the shop. Mike, my foreman, lifted his chin. He's a guy who talks like he's saving words for winter. You look rested, he grunted. Anniversary dinner. I replied, hanging my jacket. We broke up. He blinked. You want me to get the list done first or second? First. And I need the truck for a quick run at 5:30. He watched me mark tasks like nothing happened. That's how I wanted it. One scene in my life, didn't get to own the rest. Around noon, an alert pinged from the bank. Attempted withdrawal on the shared expense account exceeded the monthly cap by $4,000. Denied. Exactly as designed. I called the bank manager, a patient woman who once saved my hide when I fat-fingered a number on a wire. Ms. Garrison, I said, you'll see attempts today and tomorrow. Please place a courtesy note on the account. Per our resolution, 2 signatures required over the cap. She didn't ask why. Already showing 1 attempt, Mr. Hart. We'll hold the line. Appreciate you. At 5:57, she rolled up. Same perfume, same ponytail, same face looking through me like a window into next week. Emma, our daughter, stayed in the car scrolling, eyes tight. 16. Smart. Quiet with opinions loaded like nails in a belt. Anna stepped in without hello. I'll take the espresso machine and the patio furniture. They were gifts. They're in the joint column, I answered. That's on the later list. Clothes and personal items today. She tilted her head. Don't be petty. Following our written rules isn't petty. She smiled like I'd told a decent joke. I posted a picture from dinner last night. It already has a ton of likes. People are being sweet about it. Which part? That we're being mature. She tapped her phone. I said I'm starting fresh. I kept your name out of it. How considerate. She pulled on a sweater she used to steal from my closet and looked around as if the walls should say goodbye. You'll be okay, she said lightly. You're disciplined. That's your thing. It is, I agreed. It saved me more than once. She grabbed bags, carried them out. Emma didn't come in. I walked back to the kitchen island and glanced at my phone. A notification I didn't recognize blinked from the little app we use for our neighborhood forum. Someone had tagged me in a thread. I clicked. There was Anna's photo, yes. But the timestamp stopped me. Posted at 4:40 that afternoon? No. I scrolled. Another post. Same image, different caption. The one that mattered. New chapter tonight. Free at last. Timestamp. For 03 p.m. yesterday. For hours before the candle, before the check, before her mouth formed those words. She'd scheduled the celebration before she spoke to me. That was an impulse. That was a plan. Clause 9B lit up like a runway. I didn't need to call Mark to understand what it meant. We'd written it for exactly this. Prevent the grab when the goodbye was a harvest. I went to my desk drawer. The folder labeled if/then. I scanned the steps. Then I made 3 calls. First to Mark, activating 9B. I have a public time stamp predating the conversation. I'm sending you screenshots. Second to the property manager for the complex where she'd wanted her own place. The one owned by a holding company my LLC controlled through a quiet partnership. I didn't gloat. I introduced myself. This is Ethan Hart. Our office manages the master lease on Unit 3G. I understand there's a pending sublease by Anna Keller. Please put a hold on that file. We need to review eligibility. Understood, Mr. Hart, the manager replied, professional. Is there a problem? Temporary review, I said. You'll have it in writing within the hour. Third call, to Mike. Can you meet me by the storage unit at 7? Need to move a couple of things. Anna came back for the second load. She leaned on the doorframe, small talk loaded with sugar. I shouldn't have said it that way, she offered. About never loving you. That was cruel. I was angry. You've been a good provider. I'm not a provider, I told her. I'm a man. Providers are apps. She blinked. The warmth slipped. Don't get literal. Careful, I replied. Literal keeps us honest. She rolled her eyes. Anyway, I'll pick up the espresso machine Friday. You can start the transfer by then. Nothing transfers by then. We audit first. Your attorney will get the documents by morning. My attorney? Her eyebrows came up. You're getting lawyers involved? You hired yours 2 months ago. He emailed Mark with questions about our schedules. This is just the next step. She shifted weight like the floor changed. That was exploratory. You know I look at options. I do, I said. I built options too. Emma honked once from the driveway. No kid does that by accident. It was a signal. Wrap it up. Anna grabbed the last bag. We'll talk tomorrow. She tossed over her shoulder. Don't be hard. Be on time for Emma's homeroom conference at 9. I replied. And text before you come by again. She paused at the car door. Don't police me. Respect the gate, I told her. It's the only way this stays clean. She drove off. I took the screenshots, packaged them with the timestamp and the forum thread, and sent them to Mark. Subject line: 9B proof, public post pre-announcement. 10 minutes later, his reply came back with a document I'd only hoped never to use. The action letter. He'd fill in the dates and attach the screenshots. It would go to her attorney by 8 a.m. At 7, by the storage unit, Mike slid a dolly toward me. "You good?" "Better than last night," I said, rolling out 2 black cases with my personal tools, the expensive ones I didn't leave at the shop. Redundant? Maybe. Necessary? Absolutely. Once you see the playbook, you stop leaving pieces unguarded. "You sure you don't want a beer?" he asked. "Later. I have to draft an email first." "Got it." "Hey," he added, voice lowering, "you didn't do anything wrong, man." "I set a table," I replied. "She just didn't like the menu." We locked up. My phone pinged. A message from Anna. A photo of a cozy new place, captioned with a set of sparkles, and finally me. Timestamp: 20 minutes ago. Unit 3GS Kitchen. She moved fast. I forwarded it to the property manager with a short line. "This is the sublease applicant staging photos before approval. Please include this in her file." He wrote back, "Copy. Your office will receive the summary in the morning." I slept like a contractor who hit his deadline. Morning came with the smell of coffee I brewed myself, the way I like it. Too strong, too simple, without negotiations. At 8, Mark called. "Package sent to her counsel," he said. "Action under 9B. Emergency audit. Freeze on shared lines above the cap. Access limited per 4A. I've copied the bank on the authorization letters. Did you notify the property manager?" "Last night." "Good. Also, I hate social media, but bless timestamps." I laughed once. "Me too." At 9 sharp, homeroom conference. School parking lot. The kind of place where you see who's really partnered in their own life. Parents lined up, phones in hand. Anna walked up in a sweater that said "Carefree," like a headline. She smiled like we were colleagues at a networking breakfast. "We're on the same side here," she murmured before the teacher came out. "Let's not be weird." "I'm never weird," I said. "I'm clear." Ms. Olson waved us in. Emma sat all ready, arms crossed on the desk, her eyes flicking between us like she was refereeing soccer. Ms. Olson talked grades, mentioned Emma's quiet leadership, nodded to her math coach for a second. Routine. Then Ms. Olson looked pointedly at Anna. "Your recent posts have sparked a lot of chatter among the girls," she said gently. "Emma, how are you doing with that?" Emma's jaw tightened. She didn't look at her mother. I muted it. Anna laughed softly. "Teenagers. They take everything online too seriously." Emma stared at the table. Not a word. I addressed Ms. Olson. "We'll keep adult things adult. Emma has space with me. If she needs time away from the feed, I'll help her set it up." Anna bristled. "I'm not the villain here." "No one said villain," I answered. "We're talking about a kid, not your audience." Emma's eyes met mine for a second. That was enough. Ms. Olson, a pro at these little storms, wrapped it quickly. Outside, Anna's tone cooled. "You undermine me in there. I'll pull back on cooperation." "Don't push. Don't stage performances where our kid studies," I replied. "We're adjusting formats. That's all." She worked her jaw like she was chewing a question. Then came the second soft pivot, bigger, glossier. She reached for my arm, the way she used to when she wanted something expensive. "I was harsh," she said, softer. "I don't want to fight you. I know you're a good father. Let's do this together. Dinner at mine tonight. I'll cook. We can talk, just us. No paperwork. I'll even delete the post if that helps." Overdone sweetness. A generous olive branch with a bow on it. Second illusion, brighter than the first. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was strategy. It didn't matter. I stepped back half an inch. "Appreciate the offer," I replied, steady. "No dinners. We communicate by text for logistics. We'll talk at drop-offs. Keep it simple." She huffed. "You're punishing me. I'm protecting the process." "You and your process," she muttered. "You'd marry a spreadsheet if you could." "I already did," I told her. It never lied to me. She walked off, insulted that the charm card didn't clear. Mike's text popped up, "Truck ready," and the supplier sent the wrong brackets again. I thumbed back. "We'll adapt." On my way, driving to the shop, a new ping landed, bank notification. Attempted wire. $8,500 to escrow. Blocked pending second signature. Another. Access card declined at ATM. The systems were doing their quiet job. I didn't have to raise my voice. The math was talking. At work, I lined up the team. We're dropping the custom job until Monday. Brackets are off. Move the county order forward. Mike, send the updated timeline. Copy, he said. Also, I need to step into the conference room at 10, I added. 15 minutes. Personal call. No one blinked. That's the benefit of running a tight ship. Your life can shrink to one quiet corner without the whole thing toppling. At 10, I called the property manager. Status on 3G? Application flagged, he replied. The master leaseholder issued a pause pending verification. The applicant posted photos on the premises before approval, which is a breach of showing rules. We'll issue a decline with refund of application fees by day's end. Thank you, I said. Send the letter to the address on file. I hung up and stared at the dry erase board with our deadlines. There's a calm that comes when the lines you drew hold under pressure. Not joy, not spite, just confirmation. Boundaries work or they don't. Mine worked. Around lunchtime, my phone buzzed in the break room. Emma, rare during the school day. One line. Can I come to your place after practice? Mom's busy. Always, I answered. I'll make dinner. Can we do the chicken thing? She typed. Absolutely. She paused, then added, I saw the posts. I also saw the messages. Sorry, I hesitated. What messages? We kept a shared family iPad in the kitchen, mostly for recipes and calendars. I'd forgotten it existed. Anna had been careless. What messages? I wrote. Her and him, Emma answered. From last week. Planning the new life thing. I'm not going to her place tonight. Is that okay? It's more than okay, I replied. I'll pick you up at 5. She sent a small thumbs up. No extra words. She was my daughter, all right. By mid-afternoon, the package Mark sent had boomeranged. Her attorney responded with something that read like a shrug in legal tone. Anna is disappointed by your overreaction, he wrote. She expected a fair split. Mark's reply was a work of art. Short, linked to the signed schedules, attached the timestamp posts, referenced 9b, and ended with, please confine future communications to the agreed channels. I didn't pop a bottle. I went back to work and cut wood. At 4, Anna texted, my card isn't working. Fix it. Shared cap met. I returned. Use your account. Audit scheduled. This is ridiculous. This is what we signed. She switched tactics so fast I almost admired it. Can I at least come by for the espresso machine? I need something decent this week. It's not on today's list. God, you are impossible. I've been consistent, I told her. That's different. No response. Then, 5 minutes later, a blurry photo of a lease application with a big red declined across the top. The caption, happy. I didn't answer. 10 minutes after that. I'll just stay with friends. You are not going to isolate me. I'm not isolating you, I replied. I'm isolating the accounts. Big difference. At 5, I pulled up to school. Emma got in with a duffel bag and that same quiet set to her mouth. Everything good? I asked. I want to be at your place, she said. That's the plan. We drove in peace. At home, she tossed the duffel by the stairs and tied on an apron like a tiny general. Chicken, chicken. We chopped and stirred. She finally looked at me. Mom posted before dinner? Yes. So it was already decided. Looked like it. She nodded once, like a witness confirming a license plate. She said she never loved you. Emma added, almost clinical. That was wrong. Yeah, I agreed. But it helps. How? I know where I stand now. We ate in the kitchen. Halfway through, Anna called. I picked up on speaker. Emma saw me do it. Hi. Anna began, forced bright. I'm thinking we can still do Thanksgiving together. We'll do it at at a friend's place. Keep it normal for Emma. You always carve the turkey. It can be our thing. Emma stared at the table again. I answered. Thanksgiving is 6 weeks away, I said. We'll make a schedule when we're closer. For now, text me a list of the items you need next, and we'll keep this simple. I'm trying to be kind, she snapped. Try boundaries. They work better. Ethan, she lowered her voice. Don't make me escalate this. To what? A feelings contest. I kept my tone even. We both know that's not my sport. She hung up. Emma blew out a breath. She's going to be mad, she said. Probably, I admitted. Anger is cheaper than reflection. At 7, I got an email from the property manager addressed to Anna and CC'd to me. Per policy, your application to sublease Unit 3G is declined due to violations during the application period and pending verification from the master leaseholder. A refund will be processed within 3 business days. Underneath, a form letter tone, but firm. She'd feel it, not because I twisted anything, but because she assumed she could just walk through any door without reading the sign. At 7:30, another email pinged, Mark forwarding the bank's confirmation. Joint lines above the cap are frozen pending audit completion. Then a final one, a small mercy I didn't expect, a message from her attorney to Mark flagged confidential, asking for a meeting to reassess expectations. Translated, position lost, try a different angle. I bathed the kitchen in regular noise. Emma laughing at a video of a dog refusing to get in a bathtub. Normal is underrated when the rest of your week performs like a circus. Later, while Emma did homework, I opened my laptop and archived photos from the last 2 years into a folder labeled before. Not nostalgia, just storage. I moved a few of my clothes into the guest room closet. I tossed the candle from the dinner into the trash, not dramatizing it, not sacred, just trash. Morning again. Work again. The supplier finally sent the right brackets. Mike slapped the box like it owed him. I walked through the plan with the crew, then left early for a stop Anna didn't see coming. The community center. On Thursdays, I run a free clinic in the workshop for guys trying to start their own handyman gigs. No certificates, just a few stools, coffee, and straight talk about invoices, tools, and saying no. Look, you say yes to everything. Your truck becomes a storage unit for other people's emergencies, I told them, flipping a whiteboard. You set the scope. You write it down. Then you defend it, even when someone smiles pretty and tells you you're being rigid. A kid with paint on his boots snorted. Sounds like you dated my last client. I married mine, I said dry. They laughed. I smiled too. It wasn't a joke. It was a thesis. Halfway through, Anna arrived. She stood in the doorway, taking in the room like she'd stumbled into a class she didn't sign up for. We need to talk, she announced, ignoring the room. I didn't break the flow. We finish at 6, I told her. You can text me at 5:30 with what you need. She stepped closer. Are you kidding me? In front of these guys? Gentlemen, I said to the room, this is what scope creep looks like. External pressure, emotional or otherwise, attempting to alter agreed boundaries. One of the older men chuckled. Another shook his head like he'd just seen a magic trick explained. Anna flushed. I'm not scope creep. I'm your wife. You were my wife? I corrected. Now you're the other party in an agreement. Please wait outside. She stared at me, then at the guys, as if checking if anyone was going to come save her from the embarrassment of not being the son. No one moved. I waited. She backed out, simmering. Where were we? I asked the room. Retainers, a man offered. Right. Get them up front. 30 minutes later, I stepped outside. Anna was by the vending machine, arms folded. You love an audience, she said bitterly. I love structure. This is uglier than it needed to be. It's cleaner than you wanted, I replied. What do you need? She regrouped, trying for even. I want the keys to the lake cabin. The trust owns the cabin, I said. It's scheduled for family use on the calendar. You can request dates like everyone else. Like everyone else, she repeated, as if I'd called her by a number. Send the dates. And the car. My car title is under your LLC, which is ridiculous. It's under the LLC because of insurance and fleet maintenance. Use it like you always have. Don't sell it. Don't add drivers not on the policy. Your rules for everything. Not mine, I said. Ours. You signed them. She took a step. Faces came and went around us as the hall emptied. She lowered her voice. You can't stop me from moving forward, she whispered. I'm not trying to stop you, I said. I'm just not going to fund your new chapter while you write mine into your posts. Her eyes turned sharp. This is about money for you. This is about respect, I said. They're not that different when you've been disrespected in public. She looked genuinely thrown at that. It lasted 1 second. Then, a last attempt at the third act charm she'd always used on waiters and clerks. I'm sorry, she murmured, stepping closer, softer than I'd seen her in months. I lost my head. We can reset. I'll take down the posts. We can keep the house joint for a year, ease into this, do holidays together, keep it friendly. People don't have to know. You don't have to be alone. It was good. It was polished. It almost worked on the part of me that hates waste. That's the dangerous part, when someone offers comfort shaped like compromise. I put a hand on the vending machine, just to ground the moment. You'll take down the posts because your attorney told you they cost you leverage, I said. You want the house joint to keep access while you try on the new life. And you want holidays to keep your status. This isn't a reset. It's a strategy. She didn't deny it. She just stared. Text me your pickup list. I finished. Emma will be at my place tonight. You can see her tomorrow. 8 p.m., the porch. Don't ring the bell after 9. She laughed in disbelief. You're serious? I'm steady. I left her there with the soda options. Back home, Emma sprawled on the living room rug, sketching sneakers. The house breathed differently. Lighter, like someone opened a window in a room that needed it. Mom coming by? She asked without looking up. Tomorrow at 8, I said. We'll sit on the porch. That's good, she said simply. I don't want her inside when I'm doing homework. At 8:30, Anna texted. Your lawyer is bullying me. I told him we can settle this privately. We are settling it privately, I returned. That's what a contract is. Private rules. You know what I mean. Yes, I answered. I'm declining. No more games. The lines stayed lines. Friday morning, Ms. Garrison at the bank called me. Mr. Hart, the other party came in. We politely informed her the cap is reached and that any excess requires both signatures. She expressed frustration. We remained calm. You always do, I said. Thank you for your professionalism. Are you okay? She asked, surprising me. I am, I said. I made a plan. I'm following it. By noon, Anna's tone switched again. Now it was angry, brittle text messages about how I was freezing her out, how I was making it impossible, how I was weaponizing paperwork. I answered each one with the relevant clause number and a calm sentence. I wasn't trying to win a debate. I was documenting. Not for court. For sanity. At 3, a final push came from her side. Her attorney emailed Mark with a bulleted list of non-negotiables, all of which contradicted the schedules. Mark replied with a single sentence and 3 attached pages of our notarized agreement. At 5, the property manager sent a follow-up. Applicant has posted again about a new home. We have asked her to refrain from photographing units without permission. I smirked without joy and moved on. That evening, the porch meeting. I sat outside before 8, not to brood, just to lay out the context. 2 chairs, a pitcher of water, a copy of the Post-Nup on the small table. Emma upstairs, finishing her assignment, her door opened by her choice. Anna arrived on the dot. She sat across from me, glanced at the paper like it was a boring novel, and went straight for the jugular. You've embarrassed me, she said quietly. People saw the decline email from the building. Someone must have shown them. Or maybe they read it over your shoulder when you waved it around. I replied. She ignored that. Emma is pulling away from me. You're letting her. Emma is 16, I said. She's smart. She's watching. If she's pulling away, it's from what she sees, not from what I say. She saw things she shouldn't have, Anna said. She saw what you posted. I corrected. And what you planned. She glared. You always were a stickler. That's how we kept the lights on. She stood, pacing the porch plank like it owed her rent. Fine. Send the audit. Send the nonsense. But I want to keep the patio furniture. I bought cushions. And the espresso machine. It's the one thing that makes mornings bearable. I'm not going to negotiate patio furniture like it's a treaty, I said. Put it in your list. We'll get there when we get there. She stopped pacing. We're done then. We were done at the restaurant. I answered. Tonight we're just closing the tabs. She stared at me another beat, then softened. Again, one last attempt. You know, you could still be the person who says, keep the house for now. Keep the accounts open. I trust you. You could be that man. I am that man, I said. I'm just no longer yours. She swallowed, looked toward the yard, then back at me. Final message, she said, formal, as if reading into the record. If you think this will make you happy, you're wrong. I don't chase happy, I replied. I choose respect. She went down the steps without a word. I slept again. That was my small luxury. No more midnight stomach knots pretending I didn't notice my own boundaries bending. The next week was cleanup. The audit moved like a slow machine. Line items got checked, assets confirmed. She argued on 3, lost on 2. One small one. The set of dishes her aunt gave us. I tossed them in a box for her with bubble wrap. Not because she demanded, because it was right. Her attorney's tone softened from edgy to professional. The bank stopped pinging. The property manager kept me informed. She found another place, not under my umbrella. Fine. She posted fewer updates. The algorithm got bored. At the shop, life reasserted itself. We finished the county job early. Mike slapped the last panel and grunted, "That'll stay put longer than I will." "Good," I said. "You're on vacation next week. You can't make me. I can schedule you off." He frowned, then smirked. "Fine. I'll fish alone and ignore your texts." Perfect. At home, Emma returned to regular teenage programming. Friends, homework, music that sounds like machines arguing. She warmed to her mother in small steps. Coffee on Saturday, a movie Sunday afternoon. Not overnight. Not nothing. Just honest pace. 2 weeks after the dinner, the last piece clicked. A final email from Mark. All actions under 9B complete. Audit closed. Access restored to standard caps. Distribution per schedule will occur on the dates named. Congratulations on a clean execution. I didn't celebrate. I grilled chicken and sat on the back steps with Emma while she told me about a classmate who kept borrowing pencils and never returning them. "Boundaries," I said. "Right?" She answered, rolling her eyes. "He's going to meet the consequences of his choices." She glanced sideways, a half smile. "I got that line from you." "Keep it," I said. "It's cheap to produce." Days stretched into a rhythm I could respect. I split the week between the shop and bids. I moved into a small craftsman house I'd been renovating on the side, the one my trust owned, so I never had to fight over it. The place smelled like wood and paint, not anyone else's expectations. I kept a truck in the driveway that ran because I maintained it, not because anyone prayed it would. A woman I'd known for years, Ava, runs a landscaping outfit that makes corporate campuses look less fake, started stopping by after work. We didn't rush it. We didn't post it. We built something quiet and solid over small shared tasks, like replacing a fence panel or fixing a leaky hose. Grown-up things. I saw Anna less. When we crossed paths at Emma's games, she wore the face of someone who still thinks an apology is a coupon. She seemed smaller, busier with managing impressions instead of doing the work. People around us watched, like they do, but with less heat than she probably expected. Control evaporates when no one's buying the tickets. 3 months out, Emma and I drove past the old restaurant after a late practice. She pointed and deadpanned. "Do we stop for closure?" "We already tipped," I said. She snorted. "That was enough." "You want a last line?" "Fine. Here it is. The night Anna tried to keep the house like a prize and the bank like a faucet, I didn't curse, I didn't lean on a friend's couch, and I didn't write a speech. I turned a key I'd cut long before she announced her freedom, and the locks changed because that's what locks do. That's not cold. That's adult. When she texted later, "One day you'll regret being this rigid," I finally gave her the only